Presents exciting new opportunities for the investment-minded, but it's also volatile and accelerating in complexity. That's why we created Token Metrics, an intelligent crypto platform backed by an industry-leading combination of data, AI, and media that feeds optimized portfolios to crypto investors. Featuring Token Metrics ratings to help you find the best investment opportunities in real time, an indices page that showcases various model portfolios, and deep insights into price predictions and technical analysis. A dedicated NFT dashboard that evaluates NFT collections and assets by our machine learning algorithm to find the most profitable and secure NFTs across all available blockchains. Plus, with access to Token Metrics TV, monitor 24/7 exclusive crypto news and analysis. Whether you're a first-time trader or a seasoned crypto investor, you can stay informed and in control, backed by your all-in-one crypto companion, Token Metrics. Take control of crypto today at tokenmetrics.com.
Live. This is the Market Update Monday Special Edition. I'm your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, make sure you hit the like button. Okay. Token Metrics Inc. on TikTok, where I put something up about GBTC that did quite well. We're going to do the full GBTC deep dive today to make sure that you understand everything that's happening live on the air. So let's just say hello to who's here. Bull Runner, right? Israr is here. GF from Hamilton, Ontario. Carlos, welcome. Bucharest. Crypto Crazy. Daydream. Keep the faith in crypto. Yes, we are going to have a week or a month of keeping the faith. Keeping the faith. Okay. Broken Noodle. Welcome to the Astrobot community. Crypto Buddha. Appreciate that love. Enrique says, Bill, please hug me. What's going on in this market? All right, well, let me give you the virtual hug, and I will get this sorted out. Matty J, what's up? Tybor, YY, Brutha Crypto, Dari, Elijah, welcome. Love from Los Angeles, Germany in the house. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. So let's begin with Black Friday. Okay, let's just start off by saying what I always say at Black Friday, which is you're going to go buy something, right? Black Friday is an American holiday of sorts. So Americans have Thanksgiving as a holiday. Actually, growing up, I don't know if it's still the case, but Thanksgiving is a big deal. Like, even if you don't go home for like religious holidays in December, okay, it used to be that everybody traveled home for Thanksgiving, okay, because we got a lot to be grateful for in America. And believe it or not, you may read things about Americans, but we actually do get that. At least we get it once a year. Now, Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. That's when retailers want to get everyone out of the gate shopping. Why is it called Black Friday? Well, because retailers effectively operate in the red when things were kept by hand on accounting ledgers, right? They operate in the red. They lose money all year and they make all their money. They get in the black for the year on Black Friday. That's why it's called Black Friday. So everyone shops on Black Friday, and I have a feeling this year what they're going to do is they're going to offer certain items at 90% off, but meanwhile, everything in the store is going to be full price. That's what's going to happen at the retail level. So whatever you got to get at the retail level, you better go get it. That's how I'm thinking. Because I don't think retailers are stupid. They know that people have been hurt by gas and inflation. Now, that's a little bit of a backdrop and a little bit of a prediction about Black Friday. The reason I brought that up is, you know what? You're going to buy something on Black Friday. Everyone says, oh, I'm not going out in all that traffic. And then they see the discounts. They go out. And if they don't go out on Friday, they go out on Cyber Monday. Okay. So you're going to buy something. And the question is, what are you going to buy? Right. Are you going to drink a $6 pumpkin peppermint latte every day from now until the end of the year? What are you going to buy? Well, how about token metrics? How about it? 40% off HBD, right? Hotel Bravo Delta 40. Okay. Happy birthday, Token Metrics. Okay. Token Metrics was launched in the abyss of the bear market in 2019. Like, just, I mean, it was like, it wasn't even crypto winter. It was like, I don't know, like if you were a crypto person, you were like pinned between two blocks of ice. It was terrible. Ian called up our technical department, said, we're launching. Push the button. And we launched. Token Metrics was off to the races. Okay. Celebrate our birthday every year on Black Friday. We do this sale. Now, what am I going to do to convince you about Token Metrics? What can I say? I work there. I will say one thing again. You're going to buy something on Black Friday. So what are you going to buy? Well, how about something that gives you support and resistance levels for your coin that you can't get anywhere else because it's done by AI and machine learning? And there's all kinds of components to our site. But if we're about to have the kind of volatility that we may have, how are you going to navigate the volatility? In other words, unless you're leaving crypto on Thanksgiving Day, what are you going to do for the rest of this year and more importantly into next year? How do you get ready? How do you manage the volatility? How do you find the buy points? I use this. Okay, so Bitcoin's got 15.8, 14, and 10. I have to fix the labeling on this. So if there's a GBTC mess followed by a Michael Saylor mess, I'm going to be using these levels. I may have to go deeper than 10. ETH. Okay, the next big level I think is 1050. ETH shows no interest in being above 1208, which is important because that was a key level on the way up. How are you going to know this? Right? Like you're going to be sitting at home going, okay, what level matters? What level doesn't matter? Market update's only on 1 hour, right? And some of that's behind the paywall, which increases the value of Token Metrics, especially at 40% off. Okay. Again, if ETH gets really messy, right? Like something's going to get messy. It could be Bitcoin. It could be ETH. It could be both. Normally debacles are in altcoins. I think the altcoin debacle has already happened, although there is the joke in altcoins that, you know, if your altcoin went down 99%, it can go down another 99%. You know, I think picking on altcoins at this point doesn't make a lot of sense. I think if anything makes sense in altcoins, it's a question of if they get destroyed, where can you pick them up? I think ETH is in that club. Sorry, right? 894, 713, 545. No one wants it to go down there, right? But if it does, what are the levels, right? What are you going to do? Search crypto Twitter? I mean, you can have it. You can have it already. You can get it, write it down in a notebook. I keep the slides right here. 1435, 990, and 350 in Avalanche, right? Here's like the zoom on the Avalanche. This green bottom down here, I mean, some of this stuff may go back to where it came from, and we'll do more on that in a minute. Okay, so that's the PowerPoint. So it's kind of simple. Unless you're leaving crypto Thursday, you're probably going to buy something on Friday in the United States. Put us on your list. How about that? Right? I can say, oh, buy this. Put us on the list of things you're thinking about because I know money is tight. Okay. So let's move from PowerPoint over to like what is happening in this market right now. Okay. Now, I've done some of this. We've done it for videos. Okay. We've done it for videos on where the market could go if it kind of gets messy, right? Like my theory is the market will go back to where it started from. So this is the Bitcoin page on Token Metrics. So if you type in Bitcoin up here, it takes you to this page. All right. Dark mode just works better on TV. And this is the Bitcoin low frequency trading strategy. It'll beep green when it thinks it's going to go up and red when it thinks it's going to go down. Sometimes it's fantastic, like any trading system. Sometimes it struggles, just like humans. Okay, so one of the things that I've been doing is I'm saying, okay, well, if Bitcoin goes back to where it came from, well, where exactly did it come from? Like, where did this whole rally start? Well, it started around 10K when Michael Saylor was like, I'm coming in at 10K. And then at 11K, the big players buying Bitcoin and all that Fed liquidity from COVID kicked in October of 2020. The takeoff point where our system went green was 11,286. So you're like, okay, well, if that's the worst case scenario for Bitcoin, great. You know what I'm saying? Like, Grayscale has to liquidate. If DCG that owns GBTC has to liquidate 600,000 Bitcoin, so don't go anywhere. We're going to go into that. Token Metrics has one target there. It's not a target. That's where it started from. And the post-COVID, like right after COVID, the first green signal after the low was at 7K. So, I talked about 6K Bitcoin on my Twitter. And then I was like, well, it didn't happen because the Celsius Bitcoin didn't get dumped into the market because of the bankruptcy. Well, I didn't know about the 600,000 Bitcoin held by this GBTC entity, right? Because DCG can order the sale of those Bitcoin. But if that happens, right, and you're not wrecked, because maybe you're going to get out of the way, where are the levels? Because that's what's going to happen, right? You'll wake up, it could blow up over Thanksgiving because the market loves to do these blow ups, and you can be like, oh my God, where's support? I guarantee you. Like, the first question anybody's going to ask when it blows up is, where's the bottom? And I think between the quant AI levels and these targets that can take you back and show you where it started, which is something really people can't see. And we made videos about this that are coming out. Like, what's the worst case scenario? What's the bottomish levels for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, etc. Right? And Solana and Avalanche, some of those levels where you had these green buttons are shocking. Right? Actually, let's just try to pull up Solana. Watch out. The screen goes all white. Okay. And then after this, we'll do Grayscale. So don't go anywhere. Just do not go anywhere. Okay. Somebody's saying interest rates up to 10%. I think if they raise interest rates to 5%, the whole legacy world is going to come unglued, which, by the way, is something people have forgotten and are not talking about. Okay. So the Solana pump started at 33 in August of 2021. We're obviously way below that. Okay. The original Solana pump was at $2.42 in January of 2021. Matter of fact, I remember this buy signal well. This is when I got on TV and started screaming buy Solana, and it went to 56. Okay. But if Solana runs home to mama, it's $2. Okay. Now let's talk about GBTC. Okay. I'm going to actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to not distract you. I'm just going to do me. And I'm going to try to explain this the way I did it on TikTok. I've actually kind of refined it. All right. So there's a company, DCG. They have exposure to the FTX contagion, which is meaning they lent money or put money somewhere, and they've got $1 billion that they thought they had that they don't have anymore. DCG is the company that kind of runs the GBTC trust. What's a trust? Well, it's like an ETF. This entity buys. This has been around for a long time. they've got 600,000 Bitcoin. Okay. They issue 600,000 Bitcoin, and then they turn around and they go to the equity market and they say, okay, we'll issue this thing called the trust. And then, the stock will move around as the stock market values the Bitcoin held in the trust. Well, what's happening lately is this is the Bitcoin, and the stock of the trust is 40% below what it should be. In other words, people look at GBTC and say, you know what, this thing reflects Bitcoin at 12K. Why is Bitcoin up here and this equity market instrument up here, down here? Why is that? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but one of the things that have come to the forefront, which I don't think people fully understand yet, is that if DCG gets in trouble, okay, and you look at what's called a 10K, so anything that's publicly traded has to communicate with SEC and investors by publishing something called a 10K. It's basically, hey, how are we doing and what are the rules of the game, right? Inside the 10K for the GBTC trust, it says the following. If the parent company, DCG, has an issue with solvency, they can dissolve the trust. And now what does that mean? Well, that means they can go to everybody who has GBTC, and the price of it is, say, $8 or whatever. So if you've got 100 GBTC and the price is $8, that, DCG says, okay, well, we're not going to have this trust anymore. Here's a check for $800, 100 times 8. Here's your money back. We're not trading this stock anymore. That's it. We dissolve the trust. Now, you may be asking, where did they get the $800 from? They sold all 660,000 Bitcoin in order to buy everybody's stock back or cash everyone out, however you want to say it. Not to mention the fact that, DCG, according to a tweet, and again, I'm trying to keep this like an organic narrative. DCG has been putting GBTC on its own balance sheet. So they've been potentially buying the product that might have a problem or might get dissolved. In other words, if they wind up selling all the Bitcoin, they wind up getting some of the proceeds because they've been buying GBTC. GBTC is owned by Cathie Wood from ARK. And I don't know if the problem is with GBTC itself, right? As if you own it, they dissolve it, you'll get a check. Where will GBTC be trading? I don't know. But if they dissolve the trust, you'll get a check. Minus whatever DCG probably has to keep itself afloat. So you're going to get a little bit of a haircut, which would kind of explain why GBTC doesn't trade that well, right? Trades 40% below where it should. Mr. Market's been pretty spot on because it's been that way for a while. So even if you understood none of that, let me pack it down for you. Whoever is running GBTC is exposed to FTX. If they have a big enough problem, they might have to sell a lot of Bitcoin to sort themselves out. Now, where this doesn't take effect is if the GBTC parent company and the whole mechanism and all that Bitcoin is absorbed and bought by somebody like BlackRock, right? Somebody just comes in and goes, oh my God, I can get all that Bitcoin. I can get the GBTC trading mechanism and I can just scoop it all up for cheap. That's probably what everybody's hoping for. And who knows if that happens. The saying from 2008, which is where the war story aspect of this comes in, is that GBTC and DCG are too big to fail, right? There was a company called AIG, which is a huge insurance company that had what they thought was conservative debt instruments so they could earn yield on their money on their balance sheet. And those debt instruments blew up. So what was thought to be conservative or blue chip or safe wasn't. Now, AIG was so big that the Fed and the Treasury had to step in because if AIG had gone down, the whole system would have gone down because it's a gigantic insurance company. It's huge. And if you've ever heard the saying, too big to fail, that's where it came from. And then 10 years before that, in 1998, there was a hedge fund, long-term capital management. They had a mathematical trading strategy that stopped working when there was a black swan event in the Asian currency market. So, Wall Street attacked their positions. They shorted everything that they were long. Sound familiar with Binance and FTX? Except the difference was the Fed came in, helped long-term capital management liquidate, and then they had to cut rates 3 times to make sure it didn't blow up the system. Who's doing that in the case of FTX and DCG? Nobody. Okay. So DCG is let me share the screen here. Okay. And I mean, literally, if I had to boil it down to like one sentence, this would be the one sentence sharing the screen here. DCG is the largest holder of its subsidiary's Bitcoin trust. Right. So DCG is somehow using that trust to make sure they get a bunch of that money if that Bitcoin gets liquidated. It's scary. Okay. It's beyond scary, right? Because I've seen this before, and most of the time there's some kind of Fed bailout, which of course won't be the case this time. Now, if we translate this over to the chart, okay, 1180 is where ETH should have stopped. It didn't. Okay. Forgot to share the screen. Wow, that was loud. Okay. So again, 1180 is where ETH should have stopped, right? That's right here. This is a 4-hour chart. All right. And it should have stopped there, but it didn't. So that could mean, and we did this on Token Metrics already. And it's amazing when these levels match up with what is on Token Metrics, which is something that was talked about in technical analysis textbooks when they first wrote the candlestick book in 1992, Steve Nissen, is that you always want to have one method or one indicator confirming another. So you have 1080, 1046, 854. Now, why, okay, we're going to Bitcoin. 16.1 is where Bitcoin should have stopped, and it hasn't. And that's bothering me. Okay, again, this is Bitcoin 4-hour. One question you may be asking yourself is, all right, Bill, this narrative is bearish. Crypto Twitter is on fire. Why isn't the market down? Why isn't it down? Okay, probably because the market is not stupid, and there's probably huge amounts of shorts in Bitcoin. And this was a classic problem in 2008, right? I mean, first, no one understood it, right? Then they thought it was over after like the Celsius of that era, which was called Bear Stearns. So back then there was a March debacle, and then it accelerated in the fall when everybody thought it was safe to go back in the water. In this case, it was Celsius in May and June, and then in November, we're having the next big problem. So at this point, Celsius was a surprise. I didn't think it was Celsius. I had a TA-based sell in May and go away, right? But this is different. Like, this is known now, right? And even if FTX was only caught by a handful of, kind of forensic researchers before it happened, once FTX did get going with that CoinDesk article, we knew what was going to happen. You knew that this was big. And if you didn't, I told you this is the worst thing I've ever seen. But people are not stupid, and they've been short probably because Bitcoin just sitting at 20K was the ghost of 2018, right? A Bitcoin sitting there for months at a time was exactly what Bitcoin did at 6K before it fell out of bed, which was my first crypto war story. It's like everybody thought it was fine. Nobody knew what it meant, that this thing that was so wild stopped moving, and now we know. And of course, somewhere in here, it's so hard to wrap your head around, there may also be a Bitcoin miner debacle in this. Because there was a guy who found the Bitcoin hash rate going up, which is what usually happens before a disaster. And all he was doing was talking about this thing might go lower, and nobody had any idea that this was going to be system-wide contagion. Now, before we go to see what's in the chat, let me just make a brief point about contagion. Normally, contagion brings in central banks. There is no central bank in crypto. And I know that no one wants to hear this, but I think the only way this FTX thing does not nuke crypto, possibly, or at least Bitcoin, the only way it does not nuke Bitcoin is if the Fed comes in. And if the Fed comes in, you're going to wish you'd never gotten in crypto, because the SEC is bad, but if the Fed comes in, they own crypto. They own it, right? Like I saw Jamie Dimon. Okay, this just in. JP Morgan officially registers a cryptocurrency wallet trademark. Like we could be at the dawn of legacy taking over crypto. Because if the market doesn't go down, that's the only way it doesn't go down, is if legacy comes in with the Fed and say, we're absorbing all of this. Coinbase is owned by BlackRock, blah, 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 blah. That, to me, I'd rather have the market re-auction Bitcoin. A lot of people think Bitcoin is not all that. You've heard Ian Bellina say that. You've heard him say, good luck making life-changing money in Bitcoin. So a lot of people don't think Bitcoin is all that for the next cycle. Like, well, the only thing I can tell you about the next cycle is whatever was all that for the last cycle will not be what is all that for the next cycle, right? I'm really interested in gold, as you know, right? Because gold has done nothing for 10 years. Nothing for 10 years. And then the gold could all of a sudden wake up. But I wanted to give you the color in crypto. So let's go over this. Crypto has got a major problem in that a legacy player may have to liquidate huge amounts of Bitcoin. People already know this, which is why the legacy instrument is down. And Bitcoin really doesn't move much because a lot of people are short, worried about this move. It's as simple as that. Now, frequently what happens, so I unshared the screen there. So what happens is you have to be careful of the illiquid holiday weekend in the United States, right? In other words, if nobody can get the market lower because there's all these big short sellers that kind of, everyone who was going to short it has already shorted it, and you have this sort of like almost organic bid below the market as these short sellers get nervous and cover. Okay. But when all the big short sellers are eating turkey or at the mall, they're free to sort of attack this thing. And we've seen this, and you've heard this on the stream. You heard this in the Astrobot Discord this morning. Holiday weekends, Easter, Labor Day, Memorial Day, all of these US holidays, don't ask me why. They let you eat your dinner. They let you hug your family. You sit down to watch TV the night of the holiday, and boom. Right? There's also a saying in legacy that, don't go long into a long weekend. Now, that means if there's a 3-day weekend, don't buy before that. Okay, that's as old as the hill. But if crypto is going to get scary, it's going to get scary when the market is thin, I think. So if you walk in Monday or Tuesday morning, and this market is not a disaster, I would actually consider that somewhat of a victory, that they weren't able to wreck it when the market was illiquid. I think there's also a point that needs to be had, that since GBTC is a stock market instrument, frequently, and this was true in 2008, I have a bit of a story about that if I cannot forget it. But if there's going to be bad news about a stock or a publicly traded entity, normally they do that bad news on a Friday after the close to let people calm down over the weekend so they don't lose their mind by releasing it when the market is open. Now, of course, in crypto, that doesn't count. But I do remember things got so bad in 2008 that Goldman's London trading desk, right, said we're going to open currency and bond market trading on Sunday night in case you need to get liquidity. Like they opened the market when it wasn't open to at least give people an opportunity to do something. That's how bad it was. Right now in FTX, in this case, I also have to go back. I read this on the stream. I don't think people got it. You know, the head of Enron, the guy who had to take over Enron post Enron debacle. What's Enron? Well, it was an energy company that decided to sell all of its energy assets and try to become a paper digital energy company. Okay. Almost like the FTX of energy. Okay. Enron blew up during an overall bear market. And the thing about Enron is it made people sick. I think the top guy went to jail. Okay. And it was a part of a bear market and it was horrible. Okay. I was working for a small company that was actually a vendor of Enron for energy data at the time. So, of course, that really sucked for us to have this place go away. But I don't think it completely turned off crypto. And there certainly weren't all these things about people under the age of 35 or people under the age of 30 managing hundreds of millions of dollars and doing whatever these kids were doing. I'm 53, just had my birthday recently, so I can call people at FTX kids. Okay? There's never been anything like kids mismanaging money, lying to the point where it could blow up definitely the crypto system, and this could bleed over into legacy. Because ARK owns GBTC. Coinbase has got the GBTC Bitcoin in cold storage, I think. Now, I don't know how that affects Coinbase, but, you know, if you had been thinking about Celsius, or even last year, if you watched the American Super Bowl and you were watching an FTX commercial, you say, oh, FTX isn't going to go to zero. They would have thought you were crazy. I mean, I think FTX sponsored the Mercedes-Benz F1 racing team with Lewis Hamilton that won the, won the championship 3 years in a row. Okay. So there are a couple comments. Let me just get to that. Okay. Paco says today is his birthday. Happy birthday. Okay. Broken Noodle says they aren't kids. Okay. You're right. They're adults. They're adults. They should have known better. That's true. Okay. Crypto Crazy said, I think this was bigger than just some 30-somethings acting badly. Of course it is. It's way bigger than that. Okay. It's bad because it's an illiquid system. Crypto is not a liquid system because there's no central banks. Okay. You know, the nerd Robert is saying, you know, watch out. Don't buy, you know, be careful. You know, Vincent Crane is saying, do you think USDC is safer than Tether right now? Routine Cheese thinks 99% of crypto will collapse. Only BTC, ETH, and a handful of projects will survive this winter. Okay. Well, I can tell you in 2018, what was hot was not for the next cycle. And a lot of stuff that was given up for dead. CryptoPunks, Synthetics, Cardano, Chainlink. A lot of people didn't realize that they were out and just sitting dormant way back when. Okay. Okay. Somebody caught me on like not sharing screen, right? Somebody says, I'm still buying Bitcoin. Iron Allen is here, right? At Village Cooking, laugh out loud. Iron Alien with 2 nice emojis. Somebody says, Iron Allen, if we can't hold 14K, 9.5 is next. And Frank is like, economics still unclear wherever we go. Interest rates going up to 10%. Yes, so let's talk about that. So interest rates, the Fed's going to hike rates in December. They may still talk all tough. That's not the issue. The issue is after the Fed hikes rates, regardless of what they say about it, the next day, everybody in corporate America, Silicon Valley being the big culprit, they've already done 34,000 layoffs. And trust me, I worked at Wall Street. If they can do as a collective 34,000 layoffs, they can do 100. And I know that's really sad. That hits me right here because I got caught in one of those. I actually survived Goldman. I think I survived 7 cost cuts before, I finally got the phone call. Okay. They can do it at the holidays and blame it on the Fed. Plus, frankly, it's also humane, I think, even though it does ruin your holiday and make you feel awful. At least you don't go out and get overextended buying holiday gifts, and then you get the news you're laid off, right? You get the news you're laid off before the holidays. Everybody can buy each other a book and pajamas, and that's it. So even though it feels horrible, financially, it's more humane. And these big companies are going to pull the trigger like that. They're not going to wait for an economic slowdown, a recession. They're not going to wait. I mean, look at this. Look at this in Germany. I mean, are you kidding me? German disaster official recommending stockpile several crates of water and canned food. We'll have to assume that there will be blackouts this winter. By that, I mean regional and temporary interruption in the power supply. The cause will not only be energy shortages, but also the targeted temporary shutdowns of the networks by operators. Wow. And that doesn't even talk about the whole tactical nuke thing. Rumors that Russian troops are trapped, right? No doubt being showered by American-based artillery. Now, what does that have to do with Black Friday? What does that have to do with token metrics? How the hell is anybody going to sort out FTX, GBTC, right? The winter in Europe, tax loss selling, which I haven't even talked about, even though we've done it on prior streams. How do you sort this out? How do you figure it out? Well, of course, we would love it if you would watch the market update. But we have the market update on token metrics as well. And honestly, folks, do you know why I made and survived 7 cost cuts at Goldman? Do you want to know how that happened? Because in 2008, when it blew up and there were so many variables, people couldn't keep track of it. The only person who could provide navigation was the technical analyst, right? So this is our ratings page that we have. It's got CASPA, Pax Gold, right? GMX, which is a decentralized derivatives exchange. If you want to know what's benefiting from this, it's here. So it's not a TA-based system, but it does help do TA. And it can give you stuff you can't get anywhere else. Because how are you going to make sense of it? I mean, seriously, I get up every morning, I look at this, I go, all right, what am I going to do? I can tell you, like, I know people like war stories, and I think that we want to actually come out with something where like our customers, like I know we do this on the premium group webinar. Like the premium group webinar and the Astrobot Morning Alpha has almost turned in to Wall Street war stories by demand, on demand, right? Here's another Wall Street war story, right? That speaks to the whole token metrics, AI-based levels thing. There was a point where I was almost like TA TV. In other words, the market was so volatile, so crazy, particularly on Sunday night when equity futures open, that I would have calls and levels and stuff that I was looking at. It was untradeable. Things moved so fast, nobody could get in and out. So the traders were like, hey, let's just sit here and, watch Billy do his thing, right? And, the calls were right. The TA was good. And I was fortunate, right? I was fortunate. Me and the other technical analyst that worked there, he went on to hedge fund glory. We had the call on this We worked in separate compartments, but there were components of that that were untradeable, which we could be headed for again. So in the event I'm not on the air, and of course, if I am on the air, I would really appreciate you hitting the like button, right? Matter of fact, you better hit the like button because my birthday was recently and it's the holidays. So give me a break, hit the like button. Okay. But if you're going to buy something on Black Friday, buy whatever helps you manage the unmanageable. Because the last thing you want for the holidays is to be blown out of crypto, right? Somebody said it. You got to live to fight another day. Okay. Okay. Someone's asking, where can we trade stocks now after the FTX debacle? I guess people were trading equity derivatives. You know, if you're a U.S. investor, I mean, that would be Charles Schwab, I believe, or E-Trade or some equivalent, not investment advice. Okay. Where can you trade derivatives on every single equity? Dude, I don't know. I think there are things you can trade in the decentralized universe like mirrored QQQ, but I mean, where can I do more speculating in an era where all speculating is blowing up? Now, I do believe international players can get an account at the Chicago Merc. Now, as I keep telling people this, even though it's boring AF, right? You know, Legacy does have liquid instruments. You know, the S&P futures contract became the default method for hedging yourself in what was at the time a bond market debacle. You know, you can trade Bitcoin futures at the CME, Chicago Merc, and options on both Bitcoin and Ethereum with nearly no risk, not investment advice relative to crypto. Right. So if you had crypto on an exchange, you'd have to worry about it. If you have positions in Bitcoin futures, you know, that carries, you know, price risk, obviously, but you can get long or get short. You know, that exchange is just so big. Their crypto component of what they do is dinky compared to all the rest of the things that they do. So you're not dealing with exchange risk. You can have liquidity risk, which means, you know, the things can gap and you can't buy or sell. That's, you know, that's always the case, but the exchange is not like a crypto exchange. Okay. So Paul says, just logged in. Iron Allen says, happy birthday, Reverend Flashback. Appreciate the love. Thank you. Just logged in. What is today's freak out? I Googled the acronym and can't find anything on it. So GBTC is not an acronym. It's a symbol of a trust that's traded in the stock market. It's kind of like the Bitcoin ETF before the Bitcoin ETF. So somebody's holding 600,000 Bitcoin, and that entity is potentially exposed to FTX in the billions, 1 billion, 2 billion. And if they get in enough trouble, they could dissolve the trust, sell the Bitcoin, pay the shareholders their money back, and that's how it works, right? That's it. Somebody who's in trouble has a ton of Bitcoin, and they may have to sell it, pay off the people who they would organically owe money to, and that's it, right? Now, I went through the whole thing. I did it at the beginning of this video. I think we have a separate video that I did for 3 minutes that's coming out. And I do know that if you definitely missed it and don't have time, Token Metrics Inc. on TikTok has something I just like grabbed my phone and stuck it in my face. And that actually got a lot of views. So you can check that out. Obviously, we would like you to check this out and stay on our YouTube channel. But if you got to get to 411, the bottom line is somebody's afraid that there's going to be a massive Bitcoin liquidation. Why is the market not down? Well, people are short already. What's going to happen next? Well, you have to wait to see if it goes down over the Thanksgiving holiday. If there's any such thing as a plunge protection team in crypto, they better show up quickly. If they don't, you're going to have to use something like GAN, or AI to figure out where the downside is. And we covered that earlier. Obviously, we're running a coupon for Black Friday because it's Token Metrics' birthday and it's Black Friday. And I guess my final word about Black Friday is you're going to buy something. And unless you're quitting crypto this week, you're going to need to navigate this debacle. Okay? You're going to need to navigate this debacle in order to survive the next one. Okay? Or I should say, in order to be there for the next cycle. Hopefully, there are no more debacles after GBTC and Sailor. If there is, I don't know. But I would take advantage of whatever you can take advantage on Black Friday so you can figure out what's next. Because we have that, right? We have ratings. Just as like a final reminder, right? So this is what's next, right? The AI grade ranks what's hot and what's happening now. So the minute this thing rises from the ash, these are the coins that are doing well. Note Pax Gold is still there. Okay. And I'll just, I'll just do my thing on Pax Gold here, right? This is the Token Metrics grade. This yellow line, white line is the price of Pax. Okay, the Token Metrics grade on Pax went to 80, which is what you want. You want to see the grade explode before the price does. It's interesting. The new versions of Token Metrics are going to allow you to track which instruments have a grade that's moving, and you can look to see if the grade is moving before price. Like, this is just money. This got everybody out of Luna back in the day when the grade collapsed before Luna went to zero. Like, the grade literally went from 80 to 20, and then Luna went. In Pax's case, Pax, was at 1600, and the grade went to 90. And I'm hoping that Pax just turns around and catches up. If anything, having Pax and losing 1 or 2% or making 10% is better than losing 40%. Okay. Village Cooking says the gold chart looks a bit iffy. Okay. I can be intellectually honest. I think we have a trading view functionality here. So this is Pax. So it'll give you like a basic trading view look. Okay. It depends on how you want to draw this trend line. I mean, clearly there was a breakout down here. Okay. I think the previous fourth wave in Pax was there. What's the previous fourth wave? Well, that's where, you have to take that out in order to have trend reversal. People may wind up selling gold into the Fed meeting because they're afraid the Fed's going to talk tough. Okay. All right. Okay, so I wasn't sharing the screen and it didn't blow the horn in my ear. Okay, so again, here's Pax Gold. Okay, we have a trading view functionality inside Token Metrics. So we give you like trading view light. So, if you need trading view, but you don't need everything in trading view, we give you some of it here. Okay, the previous fourth wave, which is where the give up trade started from, that's really where Pax has to break out from in order to go much higher. Okay, that level is at 1800. Right, and this actually lets you draw on the trading view at the same time. So where do you want to be when this is over? What are you going to do to save yourself? Well, hopefully you have a written plan. And I guess what I would ask is, my final word is, make us part of your plan. That's Token Metrics on YouTube if you got no money, right? Because, I understand people have no money. I've been there. Token Metrics on YouTube, Token Metrics Inc. on Twitter, and I think on TikTok. Tokenmetrics.com. If you're going to spend money on Black Friday, spend it with us. 40% off discount. I'm going to put it up one last time. Okay. It's our birthday. The coupon is HBD. Happy birthday 40. Okay. Check us out. Give us a shout. We are going to be live regularly while this debacle is going on. Okay. Mainly because we want we want to help as many people as possible, because not a lot of people know this, but any good technical analyst, their primary job is to help people. If you meet a technical analyst and their primary job is to get rich, I don't know about that. A lot of guys have sophisticated tools that they sell you because they want to help you, right? I don't have the tool personally. My company does. Okay, folks, that's it for the live stream today. I am your host, Bill Noble. We'll see you next time.